Good evening, guys. This is Tina. In this video, I'm going to talk about Thymeleaf page layouts. In Thymeleaf, there are two ways to do the layout. The first way is called the include style, which is very similar to when using GSP, you include other files. There's another way, it's called a hierarchical style. And in this video, I'm only talk about include style, and I will upload another video to talk about hierarchical style. So let's get started. I need to switch to the IDE. So I have a Spring Boot project already, and basically I just have the project started, but I didn't do any configurations. So in my POM, I just add a Thymeleaf web and I add a Spring Dev Tools. This is a starter is by default gonna be included in the Spring Boot project. And I have a controller folder, has nothing, and this is when I Spring Boot generated for us, okay, the entry point. And in my static, I have a CSS folder, but I have nothing inside now. In the template, I have nothing inside. In the application properties file, have nothing been override, okay? So most likely when in the company, you're gonna have a designer. After the designer done all the design stuff, they will give you a folder which contains HTML, CSS, probably a little bit of JavaScript. And I don't want to write from scratch. So what I'm gonna do is, first let me delete these two, okay? First, let's go to the website, download some like bootstrap layout examples. Just pretend what's gonna happen in the real world. I found out this one is pretty simple. Those are too difficult. When we give an example, it's too difficult for we cut some things out from our page, okay? But this one is pretty simple, okay? This one is simple. It has a header, it has a footer, it have a center part, okay? So I'm gonna go and then download this. Control S to download. I'm gonna put it in a desktop, save. After you download successfully on your desktop, did I put it in a desktop? Okay, what happened? Let me check one more time. Oh, it's here. But interesting is why is the folder? It should have a folder. Okay, it doesn't have. It should have a folder. Let me download one more time. We will download this cover. Let's download another time. It's there. Ah, it's just slow. Okay, so no need for that. So here, this is our downloaded HTML file. When you open, you can see the page layout, which is have header, have center, have the footer, and there are some other files in this folder, which is the CSS and the JS files, okay? So what I'm gonna do is pretend if after the designer will give you these things and you have to convert it to be dynamic, right? So what you're gonna do is first in our template, you can do is add a index.html. And your index.html gonna be the same as our downloaded file. Okay, downloaded file, this one, no, Control C, Control V, and go to put everything here. And you can change your title or other things, but I don't want to make any changes now. But there are things you have changed, because after directly copy to here, when you view in the browser, all the styles gone. The reason for that is when you copy here, by default, it's looking for current folder cover template, but we don't have this folder. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and copy these 2 files, 3 files if you want, and then what I'm going to do is put it in our CSS folder. This is our stand place, which is to put our CSS and JS not here. Okay, and after we are do, so if you want to see a link to this to CSS, what you're gonna do is first we are on template, so we have to go to our static folder. On static, then go to the CSS folder. So go to static, ST, and then go to CSS. You do the same, exactly the thing for the other one. Okay, and at the end, you're gonna have your our JS thing that exists. Okay, this is what I copied, but I didn't see it has a JS. Okay, so if it have JS files, then you can change your JS files here. Okay, so after you are done, you can test if it works. Go here, everything works, and this is the index.html. Okay, and the next step is you can do one more test, which is index controller, and then controller, and then end. The first one is get mapping, and we go to slash, and we add the public string index. We will go to the index.html. Okay, index. What you can do, you can start and pull this up, and see if everything works. Okay, it's up. We can go to our browser, and we will go using localhost to access. And in this case, you can see it doesn't load the styles. And when you inspect, you will take a look at it. Will link to static CSS bootstrap, but the standard URL to link CSS and JS and images, those static files, it should be localhost. This one I know, it should be localhost CSS bootstrap min CSS. So if I remove this static, it will load the min CSS successfully. So you have to make a change in the index.html to make sure it load your URL using dynamic way. And how to do that? One way you can do, some student in my class, what they did is like this way. Since it's dynamic, I just remove this thing. I just remove this, and by default, it's gonna go to localhost /css/ bootstrap min.css. This works if your location or your root, your URL is only has one path segment, which means your URL is always like this way. Like suppose you have another one, like a user. Okay, it's gonna work. But if your URL contains another offset, which is the path segment, it won't work. Like user/index. Okay, let's call admin. It won't work because if you do like this, our expected URL is http localhost 8080/css/cover.css, right? This is URL will look like. But if you configure like this way, okay, with that leading slash, and when you enter the user, your URL will be like this will be exactly like this, which works. But if you're using this URL to redirect or to forward to index.html, your URL will become like this way, which won't work. So the best way is when you link to the when you link to the static content, you always start with the root, okay? And in order to start with the root, we're using href to generate our URL dynamically, okay? How to generate? Using this one, and you copy the things to here. We start with the root, okay? It will always generate a URL which start with the context root. In our case, HTTP localhost 8080. And we do exactly the same thing for this one, href. And here we add the CSS, cover.css. And here have a warning, because we don't have a namespace th, and how to solve the problem. You can add the XML namespace th, which is a Thymeleaf, right? Okay, and what we can do is thref, we can restart. This is previously we saw localhost 8080 doesn't work, and then we restart. View it again. Okay, clear. Then we go back and refresh. Now it works. You can see the links when you directly, it's gonna be localhost 8080 CSS bootstrap min.css, which match our default, the standard way to resolve our static files inside the Spring Boot. You can always customize when using the MVC resources, okay? And another thing, it's better to keep the two. Okay, this is for dynamic resolving these CSS files. This is static, which means when I directly open this index.html without running in the server, it still can load your styles correctly. So here, when I click here, which means I will open index.html in the browser without any server, it still works. Okay, see, both of the way works. This is dynamic, and the other one is static. Okay, so now we have our basic structure setup, and the problem comes is usually the website will share the same some share the same components, which means suppose in this example we have the header, and we have the main, and we have the footer. And the header, most likely there's no changes, and also for the footer, the change part for different pages is the main part, right? The center part. And if in our controller we have another page which is called the user, okay? Let me remove this one. Okay, we have another page called the user, and we have another page called the admin. And the user also have the same structure. Suppose this one is called the user. The user HTML have the same structure as the index.html. The only change part is here is not, I will say user info, okay? And the lead, I will say, what's the thing? Should I end? This is main message for user, okay? And you can see the two pages. The only difference is the main and this main. But it's not nice to copy the entire things to be here, because if you later on I want to change the header, this contact to contact us, then you have to change every page, which is a very tedious job. And you also violate the do not repeat yourself this principle. That's why we need to have the page layout. And the first one, which is include style, which is very similar to when you do the include style in JSP. So let's get it started. So what you can do is you can have another file, which you can say common components. Okay. In the components, you can give any title. Okay, this is a shared components. And then what we're gonna do is in the index.html, we copy this thing, okay, to here. And also you copy this footer to the shared components. And then what you can do is in the shared components, we will give some fragment ID. Okay, here I will have this namespace. Here I will add a fragment ID. Fragment. Okay, this is called a header. Okay, I will add another one, which is a th fragment. This one is called a footer. Okay, and then in your index.html, what we can do is for this piece of information, I want to using this one instead. Okay, I want to use this one at runtime instead of those hard-coded one. How to do that? You have three ways. First, let's using replace. Replace, you have to give two parts. The first part is the HTML file contains the piece, the fragment you want to include here. Okay, you want to replace here. So the file is called common components, and using two column. And next one is what? Next one, it should automatically comes out. Next one is the header. Did I put it in the same? Yes, I put it in the header. Doesn't it comes out? Okay. And this th replace here means common components, which is looking for common components HTML. And this part means using this fragment entire header replace this piece. Okay. And let's do the corresponding change in the footer. Here we are using th replace, and we are looking for common components part and go to footer. Okay, and in order to differentiate, one is static, one is dynamic, I want to make some changes here. Okay, so here I don't want to using cover, I want to using header, and I will using the tab. Okay, tab 1 and tab 2, tab 3. Okay, and here footer, I will have a static footer template. So when I directly view the page on the browser, you will see header tab 1, tab 2, tab 3. Okay, this is static. You will see header tab 1, tab 2, tab 3, and you will see static footer. Okay, now I will run the thing dynamically, which is I will deploy it to our server and then see if it will using this part, or it will using the static content here. Okay, and let me go to our 8080, which is our port number. You will see it's using cover, header, a home, feature, contact. If we change here, comments, this is my cover header. Okay, and this is contact us. Okay, and then let's rebuild. Okay, goes back. my header, home, feature, contact us. So by using the standard Thymeleaf include style, which means you are using th replace, which will include the header fragment from this HTML to this piece of information at runtime. And in other pages, you don't need to actually have this piece of information. You can have a header, okay, then you can just have th replace. Let me show you. Th replace, okay, and you don't have this entire thing. You can have th replace, and here we'll have a common components and a footer. And when we run, which view the user HTML in the browser, it's gonna be look like this. Okay, I don't have a header, I don't have a footer because I don't have anything in the header, I don't have anything in the footer, right? But if I deploy to our server, it will resolve and grab the header from this place and this place and insert into here. Okay, let's go to localhost user 8080, this index, and I will have another UI called to user, right? Okay, do I have one? Let's check, okay? use.html and the index. Yeah, I have a /user. What did it say? Page not found. So what I'm gonna do is I will redeploy. Seems no problem. Okay, user yes, no problem. Seems okay. Let's me redeploy and make a call to here. Yeah. Okay, so you will have the header, contact us, you have the footer. And if in the future you want to make changes in your header, suppose you want to add a new tab, you just add in here. You don't need to go to other all the pages and then change every page, okay, which is really time consuming, tedious, or error prone way like that. What's the feature? Home feature, other feature. Okay, and then we can redeploy, and then we go back, and the user page will have other feature. And if we go back to the index, you will also have this already changed. Okay, and there's another one is here our header footer is in one file. It's also makes sense. You separate, you have a header.html, you have a footer.html, it also works. So let me show you, okay? Normally you're gonna have something, probably have another directory called fragments, okay? And then you have your header.html here. And then you have another one called the footer.html. Where's my file? Okay, and instead of using one shared components HTML to contain everything, you can have a header, you can have a footer. So what am I gonna do is copy this one and put it here. And here is my header, so I don't have the footer part. Okay, it's more clear, separation of concern. And you can have this one is called the header component, right? And you have another one which is a footer. Okay, I'm gonna remove the header. Okay, so this one will also, this file will contains the information about the footer component. This one is a header component. Then in your index HTML, you are no longer grab everything from this common components.html. You're gonna grab from header to grab a header, footer to grab a footer. How to do that? First thing is we have to go to the fragments. Okay, fragments, current folder, go to fragments, and go to header, right? And here we will get header. Or do like this way. Okay, let's see. Okay, go inside the fragments. That is the correct fragments. Then we go to the header. .html get a header. Then the same thing, we will go to here using the fragments. Okay, and go to footer. Okay, and we using footer. Okay, so let's make a small change to make sure it actually works. Okay, we'll go to here, say fragment. Okay, header. .html header. Okay, to make sure it's not referring to this one. Okay, so now we already changed our index.html to using the fragments from this folder of header and footer, and let me rebuild. Okay, and it goes to our localhost 8080. You will see this is gonna grab successfully. This is a header and this is a footer grab successfully. So in the future, if we want to change a header, you can go to the header.html. If you want to change a footer, you can go to your footer.html. And another way, yes, Thymeleaf actually provides 3 ways to do. This is replace. Replace means copy everything from this header fragment, replace here, which means this th replace will do is copy everything here, okay, and replace in your this part. There's others which is called include, and there's another one is called insert. Okay, what insert do? Insert means copy this fragment, which header, okay, insert inside the entire thing. Okay, started with header, insert inside here. Okay, so if you use insert, you will see header and another, you have another header here. Okay, let me build and show you. Here, if you use insert, you're gonna have two header. One is a header here. The other one is grab from your footer. This header. Okay, let me show you. Okay, no changes in the style, but when we inspect, and this is a header. See here, you will see header. This header is in your index.html, and this header, the entire information here is the one grabbed from the header.html. Okay, and there's another one which is called include. We can do some change here called include. Okay. Okay, what does include do? Include will copy. Include will not include this footer. It will copy whatever inside this fragment footer, copy this thing and put inside here. So let me show you something. Okay, let's add a footer 1 here. Okay, and let me add a footer here. We add a footer 2. Okay, and here we will add a inner 2. Okay, just show you what happened. Okay, so rebuild, and let's go to the index.html to see the changes. Okay, there's no style change, but when you inspect the footer, you will see here I have a footer here, which is a footer 1. But you can see, take a look at it here. You don't have a footer 2. Okay, footer 2, this one, footer 2 is inside your footer.html. You don't have. It will copy this thing. Okay, copy whatever inside this footer fragment, copy this thing and put it here. So you will see footer and inner 2. Okay, you can see footer 1 and inner 2. So that's the 3 ways. Just use as you want. You can using the replace. When using replace, it's gonna grab all the information from your fragment and replace what's inside your this part, okay, inside your main HTML. You can also using the insert. You can also using the include. So as you want. But this kind of include style is not convenient for the large application. Probably you already see the problem here. The problem here is you still have some repeated code, which means, let me close all of them, okay? Take a look at the index.html and user.html, which means for every page you want to return in the index controller, for every page, what you have to do is you have to have this header th insert, replace or include. You also need to have this repeat code th include, okay, or insert, replace for the footer. For every page you have to do this piece repeated on every page. And if you change for particular one, then if you want to change to using another one, you have to change it in every page, which is not actually good for a large application. For a large application, you might have lots of the pages. Suppose you want to change here to using another header formatter, then you have to change every page. And when using the include style of the from the Thymeleaf to do the layout, it's better to be using in small application. And in large applications, it's recommended you to use the hierarchical styles. And in my next video, I'm gonna talk about how to do the hierarchical style. And thank you for watching this video, and see you. Bye bye.